Hello, everybody. Jason Russell here, and I'm looking forward to talking to you about emotional influences on learning in our students. This is for ALTC 804, Understanding the Learner at Fort Hays State University. First, we'll start off with the definition by Myron Solovey of 1997 that says emotional intelligence is the ability to perceive emotions, to access and generate emotions so as to assist thought, to understand emotions and emotional knowledge, and to reflectively regulate emotions so as to promote emotional and intellectual growth. Okay. So when we're looking at social, emotional well-being and education, we like to look to Goleman. He has a very wonderful chart here. So we're looking at self-awareness, which is really the starting point for all of social emotional learning. We find emotional self-awareness, accurate self-assessments, and self-confidence as being the building blocks for emotional learning. We then move on over to self-management and regulation. So we have self-control, transparency, adaptability, achievement drive, and initiative. All things that are very, very important when it comes to the learning environment and being an effective learner. The next stage as well is social awareness, which includes empathy, understanding others, and organizational awareness, as well as service orientation. So helping others and being a big part of a classroom organization and group in the learning process and understanding where others come from. Then the most important cornerstone is relationship management. So that is developing into a inspirational leader, developing others within the group and classroom, the ability to influence others, to change, to be a change catalyst, to help with conflict management, building bonds, as well as teamwork and collaboration, which is all extremely important in the classroom experience. So let's look at these a little bit deeper. Self-awareness, the ability to tell right from wrong, having your own identity, self-confidence, as well as ability to self-assess. Now, when we're looking at all these things in the classroom, the ability to tell right from wrong is very essential for many students in the learning experience, as they can prevent themselves from answering a question incorrectly and therefore preventing possible, being made fun of and those kind of things. Having your own identity and being able to discern who you are and what you're all about can also be extremely helpful in the classroom, especially for students who are needing to have that identity within their own understanding of what they want to be when they grow up and what they're working towards in the end. The ability for self-confidence as well. So being able to answer questions and participate in the classroom experience really benefits learners in the end. And then the ability to self-assess, to really look at oneself and determine what they lack and where they need the most help can greatly benefit one's learning environment and their ability to seek answers and assistance when they're really struggling with a subject. Now, when we look at self-management, a lot of this involves, the ability to control this yourself in the classroom and for your students to be able to really pay attention and prevent, others from being distracted. So being able to control your own impulses and to think before acting. So the ability to, reference materials and to really take the time to think through an answer and develop it before blurting it out. So showing the maturity in that regard. Also with self-management, you're looking at trustworthiness and integrity. So, others being able to really trust what you say you're going to do, and as well as being able to know that people are going to do the right thing. So that helps with the learner in that you can begin to trust them to be self-guided in their learning and to do projects and those things on their own without having to hold their hand the entire way. And I think one of the most important things anywhere, and not just the classroom, is being able to change and being open to change. So in industry, I saw it over and over again where people were unwilling to change, and I see it now in my students where they're unwilling to really change their thought processes and be open to new ideas. So it's really important to work on these social emotional and the self-management aspect, because if students aren't willing to change their thought processes, then they're going to be stuck in the same cyclical problems that we're trying to get them out of, especially at my school. We're so high in poverty, we're trying to give them these skills, and if they're not open to that change, and if we can't foster that feeling within them, then it's really going to struggle, and this could be, the roadblock that holds them back. So being socially and emotionally aware and being able to self-manage is extremely important for our students, especially in my school. Now, social awareness is the next cornerstone, and what that really brings about is empathy and sympathy. So these two things together don't necessarily mean compassion or don't equate to compassion, but being able to understand where other people are coming from, and also the ability to sympathize with them and understand their feelings that they're going through. It doesn't mean that you're compassionate about those things, or your students need to be compassionate, but it helps understanding, especially in group projects. And I know students often complain about group projects, but I think they are super essential to the learning environment. This also includes understanding norms as well as cultural understanding. So understanding what the norms in the classroom, what the accepted practices are is very important. So the teacher itself need to standardize those things in their classroom and make those extremely aware to all their students, including keeping them posted so that students know what the norm is in class. We got to raise our hand. Do we popcorn? All those kind of responses are extremely necessary in the classroom. The other aspect of social awareness is understanding society resources and support. So knowing that there's help available for emotional issues, for understanding, tutoring, those kind of things, and understanding where to go for help. Students are going through a lot of issues, and if they don't know where to go to get help or where to send others to get help, then they're going to continue to struggle and continue on a downward path. And that's the exact opposite of what we're looking to do for our students. So we, at Elk Valley, and especially in my classroom, I have it posted where you can go to help for what reasons. So, when to go talk to the principal, when to talk to the social worker, when to go talk to the school nurse, and all of the numbers necessary to seek help. So those are things that I make available in my classroom at all times to increase that social awareness. And those things remove one more factor from students learning that can hinder them. Last but not least, the cornerstone of social emotional intelligence and learning is relationship management. So the big thing on relationship management is the ability to network and to have a group of people in different fields and different understandings that you can seek out for different reasons. So this is really beneficial to the students to know who they can go to when they are looking for assistance with a particular subject matter. Who can be their expert in the field, so to say, and who they can really go to for help. So having those community connections, especially, teaching business, big aspect of, teaching the career tech ed class, and our requirements is that we provide networking opportunities for students within the community. So if they don't have the other three building blocks, then this is not going to be a successful endeavor. They're going to be afraid to talk to people. They're not going to be sure about themselves and who they want to be. They also won't understand where other people are coming from. So if we build those other three corners, then the relationship management aspect of social emotional learning can be significantly important, and the network can really start to happen. The ability to understand common ground with others, as well as to find that common ground, is extremely important, as well as to build rapport and to be able to have that back and forth and that understanding with others, and have those friendships and relationships that they can continue to come back to on a regular basis. Another important aspect that builds on this is the leadership. So the ability to be a team leader, to lead others toward a common goal, to step up and take that role takes a lot of social and emotional aspects that all need to be in place to really understand who you are and where you fit in society and in group. Importance is important as well on persuasiveness. So being persuasive in your understandings and feelings. And if you don't believe in yourself and don't believe in your own knowledge, then it's going to be a lot harder for you to push others toward a common goal and to understanding. So to be on that level is extremely important for leading a team as well. And then part of that is teamwork itself. So knowing where you fit in a team. Not everybody can be a leader. Not everybody can be a follower. It's really hard for me to be a follower in a group. And I have students that are the same way. They have to be leading the group. And so in my classroom, I have to make sure that I have the groups separated such a way that students have the opportunity to lead or to follow or to be the input or to give the artistic side of things. So switching those things around and showing them the different aspects of a group will make them stronger and help them learn. So what are we looking at when we look at learners and social emotional issues? So the middle schoolers, an Education Weekly report reported social anxiety and loneliness have increased since COVID. So what does that mean for the classroom? That means that we have to fight those things on a regular basis. We have to continue to build relationships with our students and help them build relationships with each other through group work, through group projects, to keep them engaged. Okay, this loneliness is really hard to understand. We live in a world where we're connected constantly, and it is a struggle to understand loneliness. But we also have to understand that students and even adults, they can't find those things sometimes. They need help and assistance on those kind of things. So it's really important for us as educators to give them the direction in these areas and help relieve some of these social anxiety issues and some of these loneliness. I have one particular student who started with us, the year COVID kicked in, 2019, 2020, and she was very much held back and reclusive. And being able to work with her over the last 2.5 years, she's really come out of her shell. And that really includes, all the online learning and focusing on helping her with that social anxiety and talking to others and putting her in groups with people I knew would help her and benefit her from bringing her out. So her grades and all those things have significantly increased because I've been able to help her better her own social, emotional understanding. And so it's evident that we can do this and that as educators, we can keep pushing for this. So what can we do as educators? What specifically can we do in our classrooms? So we have to make an effort to identify emotions that students are having on a regular basis. We have to be able to determine which students are struggling, which students are having a bad day, which students are having a great day. It doesn't always have to be about the negative. So we have to look at all sides of things and determine the best way to reach our students each and every single day in each and every single way. We have to listen to students' feelings. We have to hear them out and understand what's going through their mind. Doing a particular lesson during class, we have to ask, how do you feel about this? How does this make you feel? Very important for them to understand the learning environment and to make those connections with what's going on in the classroom, with how it makes them feel, so that we can elaborate on those things and develop that better understanding for them. We also have to have that empathy ourselves and understanding that some of these kids, especially at my school, they're coming from really bad home environments. School is their safe place. We have to invite them in, make them a part of that classroom and that environment, and love them where they're at. And so we know that these kids are coming in and have had a bad experience at home, or mom is struggling with this or dad is struggling with this, and there's yelling going on. And we have to understand when we bring them into the classroom that we have to reach them and where they're at and get that feeling, and maybe pull them aside and say, hey, I hope everything's going on okay at home. What can I do for you today? How can I make your day better? So we have to build those relationships with students to help their own understanding of what healthy relationships look like. And in turn, that helps them better understand and retain information. We also have to teach problem solving skills in the classroom. So critical thinking skills are extremely important for each and every student. It helps not only with their understanding, but it helps them to think logically first rather than emotionally. We also have to be modeling emotional awareness. So we have to be the models of social emotional learning and being aware of our surroundings and our own emotions, knowing that we cannot bring into the classroom our own struggles. We have to be that smiling face. All these things in turn build together, and they all build an emotional intelligence in learning. So these are the benefits. This is what it all boils down to. This is what students are going to get out of an increased social awareness, an increased emotional awareness. They're going to increase their own self-awareness. They're going to know who they are, what they stand for, what they're going to be, what they're going to do with their lives. They're going to have less stress. Less stress equals more learning. You're going to be more motivated. That's a struggle every day. I know it is. Getting students motivated to learn, getting them to understand that the material in the class is important. So getting them motivated to learn because it is important. It's what they need to know to be successful in life. Communication, it builds the ability for these students to communicate with one another and on a personal level, on an emotional level, and on an intellectual level. Lets them expand on their own feelings and beliefs and thoughts and understandings and share those with their classmates and get feedback and give feedback and build on each other. This will also greatly increase their decision making. It is going to take them from making quick emotional decisions to slowly thinking and researching and finding the resources and utilizing the resources to make informed, educated decisions in the classroom. And for us, we have to give them that time. You can't snap response and give them 2 seconds and okay, here's the answer. You got to give them time to use their skills that we're teaching them. And last but not least, it helps us build our relationships. Okay? Helps us build these relationships with students year after year. That in turn increases their want and their need to be in class and their want to learn from you as an educator. So all this comes together and makes it a great experience for the educator and the student when both of them have a great grasp on emotional intelligence and the importance of it in the classroom. Appreciate you stopping by and learning a little bit about social emotional intelligence and learning in the classroom. Some great resources I used here today for this presentation and my own learning and experience. And again, thank you so much, and you have a great day.